January, we were opening the Lusignan location and we were pressed for time. And Brava was able to hook up the internet the next day. And they didn't just leave us there. They made sure that it's working. They call us the next week and the other week to make sure everything is smooth. We have the backup battery, everything.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Brava Talks. We're in Guyana again today, where we're going to be having a chat with local entrepreneur Kezia Waldron, who owns and operates the Total Care Pharmacy, as well as Lloyd Harmon, the Brava Business Solutions Manager. We're talking to them today about the challenges that face small businesses going through a growth phase. Let's dive right into the chat. Guys, thanks for taking the time to join us. So Kezia, I'll start off with you. You're an entrepreneur and you operate in the healthcare industry, I understand. Can you give us a little bit of the background of what led you into entrepreneurship?
Well, a big part of what led me into entrepreneurship is the services that I would have received as a customer at other businesses. And I believe that I could have made that change to have people have a different experience. And a lot of what we do is based on experience, the customer's experience, the patient's experience. Because we want people to recommend us to their family, refer us to friends. And so a great part of that is the experience.
Awesome. And Lloyd, you're the business solutions manager here at Brava. Can you tell us a bit about what led you into your career in the technology industry?
Yes, absolutely. I always had a passion for sales. And when you look at Guyana and how we're evolving, where we are, the need for new technology, the need to utilize and have access to know more modern solutions that, of course, can enhance how we communicate. That in itself is what is really driving the passion.
Excellent. So Kezia, the business is called Total Care, is it?
Care, yes.
So tell us a little bit about Total Care. Give us a little bit of the history of the business now.
All right, so we started in 2021 as just the pharmacy and the clinic. We only had one physician working with us. And we're an open concept pharmacy. Even though it was right in COVID, we still went ahead. We were open. We were protecting ourselves, yes, but we did not like the glass case grill up idea that you would normally see around Guyana. So we're very open concept. Persons are able to interact with their goods. We started in 21, and then we expanded and we went to Movie Town and got a second location in 23, I believe. And that is, we have a spa, a medical spa, and the pharmacy there. Last year, we got a third location, and that is at Lusignan. And Lusignan also have a pharmacy and a spa.
Okay, that's amazing. So it seems like you're expanding quite quickly. So you must have found the recipe for success there. Congratulations on that. But tell me something. I know from, speaking to people with businesses of all sizes, growth sometimes represents challenge, right? So it'll come with new challenges, different challenges. What would you say your biggest challenges were when facing the growth that you're experiencing?
Communication. Before one communication would have grown, our challenge was being able to call our patients, the elderly ones who would only have a landline, being able to call them. And one of the challenges were having a landline phone, and then the guys had to come and run the wire through our business. We were not happy about that part. So a lot of what we do involves constantly calling the patients, prescription reminders, appointments reminders, and things like that.
Okay. And Lloyd, could you just share a little bit from your side of the fence how Brava aims to help small businesses that are experiencing those types of issues?
Absolutely. Now, specific to a point that Kezia was have raised, which is landline communication. As you know, we are the premier telco in Guyana, a very extensive voice network. You know, anyone who has a landline phone basically sits on our network. Now, the challenge with that is that the technology is aged, which is the copper infrastructure which we utilize to deliver that service. It is prone to a poor experience in the event of vandalism, of course, heavy rainfall, static in the line, etc. Fast forward to today, the needs of businesses has evolved. They want more reliable communication. They want to be able to pick up the phone and reach or a team member to communicate with a remote location. Now, what Brava has done, we have built out an extensive fiber network, and we have evolved our traditional, that core service, onto voice over IP. So what we're doing is that we're providing a means for businesses to communicate via a more modern infrastructure that allows them to scale, allows them to enjoy a much more modern approach. So our services can integrate with things like a cloud-based PBX. So in short, what we're doing is we have evolved our core service to ultimately meet the needs of clients by providing solutions that scale, providing solutions that are much more reliable and versatile.
Okay, excellent. I just want to talk a bit because operating a pharmacy and being in a data-driven world must be a hell of a task, right? So I just want to dive in on security. So you'd obviously have access to patient records of some sort, prescriptions, that kind of thing. How much of a concern is it for you that you have access to all this information and the onus is on you to protect it?
Right. That's where Lloyd comes in to assist us with that part, because everything that we do is digital. All of our platforms are cloud-based. Our patient EMR, our point-of-sale system, our means of communicating within the company, all of it is cloud-based. And security is very important. And that's where Lloyd is able to help us to keep the data safe, because we're keeping patients' records, and it's a big task.
Yeah, I can assume so. So Lloyd, without going too much into the details, because I understand, the sensitivity of what we're discussing.
Right.
How does Brava aim to protect small businesses like Total Care and others?
Excellent. You know what? And this is an area that is very passionate and close to me, right? When you look at how today's digital landscape has evolved and the amount of bad actors that are, of course, competing to infiltrate your network, have access to your data, hold you at ransom, etc. We have a very simplistic approach to this. All right. We first would want to secure your network, and by securing the network, we can provide hardware that will sit, put rules in place. So, for example, any access through the network would have to be, channeled through whatever hardware that we would install. So we will look at the network itself. We will then also look at the people, because of course, the persons who are utilizing the system in most instances are, a very vulnerable point. So we will sit with Kezia and our team. We will provide some cybersecurity training, sensitize them, have them understand the risk, and of course, supply them with tools that they will be able to do things like a stimulated phishing attack without going into too much. And then last but not least, we want to understand policies. We want to understand exactly how the operation operates. We want to be able to put rules in place. So, for example, like a hierarchy of access, who has the authority to access XYZ data. So that simple of approach of putting mechanisms in place to, one, secure the network, two, sensitize the employees, provide training, and then really build policies around cybersecurity to ultimately improve their posture altogether. So that is actually a simple three-step approach that we would take.
Okay. And Kezia, you mentioned everything you do being digital in your past answer. But I think you might be being a little bit coy. A little birdie may have told me that you guys are either already doing or on the verge of doing telemedicine services.
On the verge.
Okay.
I was discussing with Lloyd, our platform that we hold our patient records on, Jane, it has an option for us to do telemedicine. And our patients would be able to reach a physician of their choice at any time, at the touch of a button. But we haven't been able to integrate that into Lloyd's system as yet. But that is, we're right there.
Okay, that's interesting. Definitely some groundbreaking stuff happening. And I mean, just from chatting with you, I could see and hearing the backstory of the business and hearing what you're going through currently. I could see that you guys do have your eye on growth and expansion. And I think myself as well as the audience would love to know what is next for Total Care? Like, what's happening next? What's coming down the pipeline?
Next is having a fully online pharmacy. And again, the solution, Lloyd, that is having persons buy their products online or refill their prescriptions online through our website. But where we were at is the payment method. And so we did not want to do cash on delivery or, that's not very ideal. And so MMG will come in and we'll play a vital role. Lloyd's partners will play a vital role when it comes to processing the payment. So next for us is a fully online pharmacy.
Okay, excellent. And Lloyd, there was a bit of mention about MMG and partnerships. Could you just summarize for us how you guys provide a service around things like online marketplace?
Right, excellent. Now, when you look at the OneCom umbrella, we're very versatile, all right? We provide a host of services. Now, specific to some of what Kezia would have mentioned, the first one I want to touch on is the opportunity around telemedicine. Now, today, the first step in the journey, we have provided the organization with voice over IP solution, a cloud-based PBX. Now, when we would have, of course, completed the integration, the process would become a lot more seamless. So, for example, for patients who are looking to have access to a physician via means of the telephone, it would be a simple process because, of course, we would have laid the foundation via our cloud-based solution. Second to that, now our sister company, as you know, MMG, they provide virtual wallets. Now, what we can do is do an API integration, which would basically allow clients to visit our website, place orders, and of course, utilize their digital wallet via means of MMG to make those payments online. So in essence, what our organization will be doing is providing an additional means outside of the traditional, banking infrastructure. So again, under the OneCom umbrella, it's just for us to sit with her and work along with our team. And again, we can provide this support. We are doing this today.
Excellent. And we're running just a little bit low on time. So Kezia, I'll finish off with this one. And it's quite simple question. Why Brava? The things that you do and the technology that surrounds your business is so key to it. So I'm sure it's very, very important who you work with to provide those things. Why did you choose Brava?
Let me just say, the service is very prompt. A little short story, we were opening the Lusignan location and we were pressed for time. And Brava was able to hook up the internet the next day. And they didn't just leave us there. They made sure that it's working. They call us the next week and the other week to make sure everything is smooth. We have the backup battery, everything. And from having 3 locations, we also needed to communicate internally by not, using credit to call or anything like that. So again, Brava came in with the phones that allows us to call internally. If the receptionist would need to reach the physician, he's in office, she doesn't need to get up from her desk to go knock on the door, maybe disturb the patient. She's just able to pick up the phone and give him a call. It's just smooth.
Excellent. Well, Kezia, thank you for taking the time to join us. Thank you for having this chat. And you as well, Lloyd. It was definitely insightful, and I'm really excited to see what happens with Total Care over the course of the next few years in Guyana.
Absolutely.
And thank you to all our audience for tuning in to another episode of Brava Talks.